guys, so today we're going to go through a few quick wins that we can do in our videos. First one we're going to do is called a highlighter effect. So here's an example. I found an article and I want to use one of the quotes to illustrate a certain point perhaps that I'm going to make in my piece. So here's one by Harvard Business Review, and I'm going to copy and paste in the paragraph. In articles, you'll notice that a body of text will be next to another body of text. I'm going to get another body of text and I'm going to put it next to the one that I've already put together. Okay, so we have our two bodies of text next to each other. I want it to look like it's an actual article, so I'm going to grab some paper. So basically, now I need to arrange these as if they're a real piece of paper in real life. I am going to whack 3D layers on and I'm just going to arrange these. Might be useful if we go Control K and just make our composition size a fair bit bigger than we are intending to use. So I've put it to 4K, which is 3,840 pixels by 2,160. And then we'll match our paper up to size. And I'm going to align our text with the paper. I think I'm going to change the color of the text because on paper, white doesn't really work. I'm going to get a photo of Masayoshi Son. So now, as you can see, we have our article, and obviously it's not doing a lot at the minute, and it's definitely not highlighting, which is what I promised you guys. So let's get to that now. Control K, and I get my sequence settings back up, and I'm going to turn this back into HD. Now that everything is a good sizing, we can add ourselves a little camera. There we go. What I tend to do on basic compositions like this, where I don't need to mess around with the camera too much, I'll alt-click on point of interest and pick whip it to your position. So to make sure that my text blocks and my photo of Masa Son doesn't drift apart, parent the secondary text to the main text, and then take the photo of Masa and parent that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to scale up my text, go to the camera position. As you can see, the bottom of my texture is cut off. That's because it isn't a big enough image. So there's a very simple fix to this. I'm going to go CC rep tile, pop it on my texture, and I'm just going to expand down. I don't want to tile it on repeat. I want it to flip in the vertical. Create a shape layer, and we're going to just draw over the line that we want. So if it's more than one line you want to highlight, as it is in my case, you're going to want to have two different path layers. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it thicker. I'm going to make it yellow or green, actually. Maybe green's better for this, but just something that's fluorescent, that'll be good. As we've done in the past, we're going to use a trim path effect, which essentially is going to mean we can make the line draw on. And we're going to animate it, click the stopwatch on end, bring it to 0. There we go. We kind of got something that is highlighting on. So that is a good start, but we can make it look a little bit better. So I'm going to toggle switches of mode, and I'm going to go to my blender mode. And I think soft light looks much more as a real highlighter would. And I'm also going to go to effects presets, and I'm going to go roughen edges. See what we've done here. We've added a few bumps, a few imperfections. I don't actually like how these lines are animated at the same time. So what I'm going to go is I'm going to go to my content of my shape layer. I'm going to go to the trim paths, and then see where it says trim multiple shapes. It says simultaneously, do it individually. So now it'll animate the top line on, and then it'll animate the bottom line on. So now I think it's really just a matter of keyframing some movement. So I'm going to go to the stopwatch, my point of interest and position. I think I'll bring the camera going into the action. It's quite fun. Nice. And I think at this point, I want to see the image of Masayoshi Son. I'm just going to make it kind of rotate up, I think, for a little bit, because that's quite nice. And then I'm going to get to the point of interest to change, and I want it to see that image of Masa. And there we are. That's it. Perfect. As you notice, we got a few kind of empty areas here, which I can nice and easily expand with that same effect that I used earlier. There's one more thing we can do to really make this pop. I'm going to go open up my camera options. See depth of field here. I'm just going to go on and see this aperture function. It's quite low at the minute. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to yeet that up. There we go. And as you can see, I've got it to like 590, and straight away we can see that things are blurry. So I'm going to make this more like 350 because I do want a little bit more in focus than what I've done. And then you can simply keyframe your focal distance. I'm going to start with my focus way behind the composition, because then it can come into focus, and then we need to then readjust focus when we go to Masayoshi Son. So there you go, guys. That is essentially how you do the highlighter animation. Hopefully you can take the basic idea of using shape layers, blender modes to implement this highlight effect in all of your own projects. See you in the next video, guys.